successful adult working or someone that's hustling, everybody has to manage their time. You have to be effective by using the time that you have. What makes me an expert at time management? Your girl juggles like a million things. So not only am I a professor, an assessment center director, I'm finishing up my last licensure. I am a friend, a sister, a daughter, a girlfriend, a hustler. I still braid hair in my free time. I also am studying to become a personal trainer with the time in between to travel, meet up with friends and family, and do everything else that life has to offer me. I'm a beast about my time. Did you hear me? I like to call it pimping my grown-up. Everything that I have to do, I get it done. I make myself responsible for it and no one else. You are in control of your success. You can't blame anybody else for wasting your time, your money, or anything else. So if you don't want it wasted, you take control of it and you manage your time wisely. So here are my tips that I think will get you there. The number one thing you have to do is establish what's important to you or your priorities. We like to think that everything we have on our list of things to do is just something that has to get done. I prioritize what's important, what's going to be easiest for me to get done, what's going to benefit me the most at the time. You have to make sure that you're focusing in on those things that are going to be important and relevant in your life. Making that list every day will actually help you figure out what's most important for your day, for your week, for your month, and even your year. I look at those things a lot of times and try to make sure I'm making the most out of the time I have right now.
One thing I really enjoy doing is buying a cheap little notebook or journal, writing down things that I have to complete, and highlighting them as I complete them. It makes me feel so accomplished and like I've done so much. Try it out.
So know yourself, fool, or something like that. A lot of you ask me all the time, well, how did you lose weight? How did you find time to work out? Find time to get all your work done? How did you get through graduate school? How did you get a good career? How do you balance that? How do you make YouTube videos? Well, it ain't easy, baby. I know my tendency during the evening to get very lazy. I don't schedule to do a lot of things in my evening. I try to get a lot of things done in the morning. I wake up early, I maximize on that time, I take in what I can, and I try to accomplish those things that are most important on my daily list of to-do things. Make sure that you know what time is best for you. Don't sit up and say you're gonna study at midnight when you know your behind normally be sleep. I wake up early in the morning and I get things done. I work out first thing in the morning. After I work out, I shower, I get dressed, I do my makeup, I go get myself something to eat, and I sit down at my table, write down the things I must do for that day, and if I have big plans for something, it gets done early in the morning, and then I go about my day. The rest of the evening, I'm lazy as that thing, and I'm gonna sit up and watch my regular television and do other things and twiddle my thumbs if I have the time. Something could come up in the evening. A lot of times my friends do call and say they need a friend, or they need to talk, or they need to hit a happy hour. Guess what? I have that time available because I've already maximized on the things that must be done earlier in that day. Number 3 is to sleep. Get some rest. With time management, your personal health is your wealth. If you don't get sleep, if you don't get rest, if you don't get exercise, you're not going to be able to accomplish much of anything that you have to get done. If you're in college, you know this to be a fact. Everybody around you gets sick, nobody's motivated to do anything, or they got drunk the night before and they're not motivated to go to class or do the things that they know are necessary. During the week, you need to hit that hard. Figure out when your classes are, make sure that you're getting enough rest for them, make sure that you're getting your exercise in. Further, if you're working a job, if you're a young career or even older career person, make sure that you know exactly what you have to do. Get that rest in. 7 to 8 hours a night. We all can't make it. Usually I get about 6 and I'm okay with that, but I also schedule in that time for exercising so I have the extra energy, the extra drive, and the extra push to get through what I need to for my day. Next thing is handle that lightweight. Do the things that are small in between those things that are bigger. For instance, college students, you have to edit papers, you have to do studies for little small quizzes, or taking notes or retaking notes or reading a book chapter. You can fit those things in between small segments of time. You have about 2 hours between classes. Why not get started now and go ahead and read what you can? You've maximized on that time. You don't always need a break. What you need a break for? Go ahead and get that work done. The same thing happens at work. I know for me sometimes, especially if I haven't gotten rest, I can sit and look at my freaking computer screen for hours. And I try to fill my small pockets of time by breaking up those bigger things that seem like they will take more time, so I'm able to get them accomplished and get them finished in a timely manner. I suggest you do the same thing. The next thing is be flexible with your schedule. Life is going to happen. You're going to have a lot of things that come up. You're just going to have a pissy day at work. School is going to bog you down. After that test, you thought you might be ready to study for another test, but you need to sleep for the rest of the evening. Stuff happens. Plan ahead. Be flexible with your schedule and don't be too hard on yourself. In those times that are unexpected, that something comes up, you want to be able to have the flexibility to take some chill time. Make sure that you're devoting some time to yourself, so make sure that that schedule is not so rigid that it keeps you from getting me time in, because it ensures that you're going to devote quality time to those things that really need your undivided attention. Know when it's time to go hard. When you have to make sure you finish that project at work that you've been lagging on, that has a super fast due date, when you have to complete something on your list of things to even do in the household. If you know when it's survival time, and you know when you work best, you know what conditions you work best under, how much time you need to study, how much time you need for that project that's coming up, and if you know what kind of environment you need to put yourself in and the kind of time that you need, plan accordingly. Students, when it comes to things like final exams and midterm exams, don't let anybody deter you. That's not the time to go out. That's not the time to kick it. That's the time for you to be hitting them books and doing what you know is necessary for you to be responsible for your future and successful. At work, the same thing happens. Every day, people are going to go out and have happy hours and do something or have something to eat. But if you have a hard deadline and you've written that down and you know what's necessary for you to get it done, what about catching your friends the next time? They always going to be there. They always going to be going to a happy hour. Your family and friends can wait. Let them know respectively when you're setting up time or chunks of time for yourself to be unavailable to get work accomplished. Make sure you set those goals for yourself and you stick with those time limits. When it's time to go hard, go hard. But then you also have to know when it's time to celebrate. So when you've achieved those milestones, when you've written small goals for yourself and you're making them, and then when you get to those big ones, go out and celebrate. You got the B on that test you were thinking you weren't going to do that great on. You finished that project at work that you thought was impossible, but you made it. Celebrate. You're more likely to continue to manage your time well, so you can experience that happiness and you can feel happy with what you've done. Lastly, and certainly not least, you have to compromise with your time. I used to always be so hard on myself, like, oh my God, why didn't you finish that? Why didn't you get that done? I am not perfect, nor is anybody else. I realize that everything is not going to get done at a time that I thought that it would. I take my time, and I'm happy with the time that I take because I become more successful. So I have to make sure I compromise with my time. If you're hard and you always feel like you fail, you're never going to feel like anything you do is good enough, and you're not going to try as hard. I hope that this has been helpful for you. Remember to write me below and let me know what else you would like to see. I've placed a list of things below that I suggest that you purchase that might be really good for you to be able to manage your time even better. And remember, I'm doing this college style and future success series for everyone. So if there are specific things you want to see in the series, go ahead and write those below, and make sure you tune in on Thursdays and Sundays. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Beautiful brown baby doll. Peace.